The call for the envelope, please, in a few weeks could herald good news for Sam Elliot. He's already had his share of bad news lately, as he tells Martha Teichner.
For years, fans of Hollywood legends Sam Elliot and Val Kilmer have whispered theories about their off-screen relationship. Their paths crossed multiple times, from blockbuster sets to industry events, sparking curiosity about whether the two iconic actors genuinely connected, or if tension simmered beneath the surface. Until recently, all we had were subtle hints, anecdotes, and the occasional interview that hinted at unspoken truths. Now, Sam Elliot has finally addressed the rumors, confirming what fans had long suspected. What makes Elliot's revelation so significant is the clarity and restraint with which he speaks. Known for his calm, deliberate manner and commanding presence, Elliot doesn't give words lightly. When he addresses Kilmer, it's not in jest or hyperbole, but with thoughtful reflection that strips away Hollywood gossip and leaves only the truth beneath. For fans, it's a rare glimpse into the world of two actors, whose public personas have often overshadowed their private realities. Elliot's confirmation doesn't just answer questions, it reframes the narrative. It challenges assumptions, invites deeper understanding, and provides context for decades of speculation. The dynamic between these two stars, once clouded by ambiguity, now reveals complexities that fans could only imagine. Once you hear Elliot's account, it becomes clear that the story behind Kilmer is richer, more human, and far more revealing than anyone anticipated. Sam Elliot has spent decades in Hollywood, navigating both the glitz and the pressures that come with fame. His reputation has always been built on quiet professionalism and an ability to see beyond surface impressions. When he speaks about Val Kilmer, he draws not from hearsay or gossip, but from first-hand experience observations made over years of working in the same industry, attending similar events, and witnessing the challenges faced by a fellow actor whose career has always been closely scrutinized. Elliot described Kilmer as fiercely independent, someone who has always carved his own path rather than following expectations. This independence, while admirable, sometimes created misunderstandings on set and in the industry at large. Where other actors might bend to studio demands or public perception, Kilmer remained true to his instincts. For many, that was inspiring. For some colleagues, it was intimidating or unpredictable. What Elliot emphasized most, however, was Kilmer's vulnerability beneath the tough exterior. Fans often saw only the charisma, the sharp wit, and the intensity he brought to iconic roles. Few glimpsed the quiet determination that carried him through personal challenges and health battles that would have overwhelmed a lesser personality. Elliot noted that recognizing that side of Kilmer allowed him to understand not only the choices Kilmer made on screen, but also the resilience required to maintain authenticity in a harsh environment. Elliot also reflected on their interactions. He spoke about moments of mutual respect, subtle mentorship, and the unspoken understanding that develops between actors who recognize shared struggles. These were not grand public gestures. They were private acknowledgments of talent, dedication, and survival in an industry that often favors conformity over individuality. According to Elliot, part of the reason their dynamic has been misunderstood is the contrast between perception and reality. Hollywood loves a narrative that fits neatly into categories: hero or villain, star or failure, friend or rival. Kilmer, Elliot explained, has always resisted being categorized. That resistance, rather than personal animosity, may have fueled speculation about tension or conflict. In truth, Elliot observed complexity, a combination of drive, pride, and the occasional need for privacy that most people never fully appreciate. Elliot also addressed Kilmer's health challenges in recent years. He acknowledged the courage it takes to continue working and remaining visible while facing profound obstacles. This vulnerability, often overlooked in public narratives, adds depth to Kilmer's persona, illustrating that his choices, sometimes misunderstood or misrepresented, stem from experience, not ego. Finally, Elliot's reflections highlight a broader lesson about understanding celebrities as humans rather than symbols. He made it clear that the admiration people feel for Kilmer should not come at the cost of ignoring his struggles, his resilience, or the complexities that define his character. Elliot's observations provide context for behaviors that might have seemed mysterious or contradictory. showing that there is more beneath the surface than fans often realize. Through these insights, Elliot not only confirms what many suspected, but enriches the story, offering a nuanced portrayal of a man whose talent has always been inseparable from his humanity. In doing so, he reminds the audience that behind every legend lies a person navigating challenges, choices, and truths that few outsiders ever witness. Sam Elliott's account of Val Kilmer goes beyond observations. It paints a picture of moments that reveal both tension and connection between two Hollywood icons. Elliot recalled times on set when Kilmer's dedication to his craft became immediately apparent. Whether rehearsing lines late into the night or quietly refining his performance, Kilmer's work ethic demanded attention. For Elliot, witnessing this up close was a reminder that behind every intense performance lies immense discipline, a fact that often goes unnoticed by fans and critics. Alike, there were instances where the two actors crossed paths in ways that highlighted contrasts as much as commonalities. Kilmer's unpredictable approach sometimes clashed with the structure Elliot preferred, creating subtle friction. Yet, rather than viewing these moments as conflict, Elliot interpreted them as differences in perspective. Two highly skilled professionals navigating the same space with divergent methods. In those moments, respect was the bridge between personality and artistry. Elliot also emphasized the quiet generosity Kilmer displayed off camera. While public appearances often spotlighted charisma and bravado, private moments revealed a different side, a willingness to mentor younger actors, a thoughtful approach to collaboration, and a protective instinct toward those around him. Elliot noted that these aspects of Kilmer's character often go unseen, overshadowed by sensationalized media portrayals. Recognizing them, Elliot said, was essential to understanding the man behind the legend. What makes Elliot's revelation especially significant is the balance. He strikes between admiration and honesty. He neither idolizes Kilmer nor sensationalizes his flaws. Instead, he offers a measured perspective that acknowledges both brilliance and vulnerability. In doing so, he provides context for decades of speculation, demonstrating that misunderstandings often arise from partial glimpses rather than deliberate deception. Elliot's reflections also shed light on Hollywood's culture during their peak years. The industry rewarded image and control, often punishing those who deviated from established norms. Kilmer's independence, while inspiring, occasionally put him at odds with those who preferred predictability. Elliot recognized this as a structural issue rather than a personal failing. Understanding that Kilmer's path required courage, persistence, and a willingness to challenge conventions quietly but consistently. The dynamic between Elliot and Kilmer exemplifies how relationships in Hollywood are rarely straightforward. Mutual respect can coexist with occasional tension. Admiration can exist alongside frustration, and connection can thrive even when personalities clash. Elliot's insight underscores the importance of viewing these relationships holistically, rather than reducing them to soundbites or tabloid narratives. Ultimately, Elliot's account confirms what fans had long suspected. Kilmer is a figure of complexity, resilience, and undeniable talent. Yet it also goes further, offering an insider's perspective that humanizes both men and reveals the subtle ways in which their lives intersected. For audiences, this insight transforms admiration into understanding, and curiosity into a more complete appreciation of the man, whose public image often obscured the private depth. By revisiting these moments, Elliot invites viewers to see beyond legend and image, showing that what happens behind the scenes often holds more significance than what appears on the marquee. It is a reminder that Hollywood, for all its glamour, is built on human relationships shaped by talent, personality, and circumstance, sometimes tense, sometimes harmonious, and always revealing. For decades, fans and the media speculated about Val Kilmer's personality, relationships, and off-screen behavior, often without the context necessary to understand him fully. Misinterpretations and partial stories painted a picture that was rarely accurate. Sam Elliott's reflections help clarify why so much about Kilmer seemed mysterious or even contradictory to the public. Elliot explained that some of the confusion arose from Kilmer's tendency to prioritize his own process over public expectations. While audiences anticipated a particular type of charisma or behavior from a star of his magnitude, Kilmer often resisted conforming to those expectations. What might have been labeled as aloofness or unpredictability was, in reality, a focus on maintaining integrity and staying true to his craft. Elliot emphasized that this distinction is crucial to understanding Kilmer's choices and career trajectory. Another source of misunderstanding, Elliot noted, was Hollywood's tendency to simplify personalities into archetypes. The iconic leading man label applied to Kilmer ignored the complexity beneath the surface. Fans often assumed a flawless public persona masked a similar personal life, when, in reality, Kilmer's life was a balance of ambition, vulnerability, and thoughtful navigation of fame. Elliot's perspective sheds light on the gap between public perception and private reality. Elliot also addressed the notion of tension that had circulated for years. Some assumed there was ongoing rivalry between him and Kilmer. In truth, Elliot described a dynamic marked more by mutual respect than conflict. Differences in approach and personality occasionally created friction, but they were never rooted in malice. Instead, they reflected the natural interactions of two accomplished, independent individuals operating in a high-pressure environment. These misunderstandings extended beyond their relationship. Media narratives often exaggerated or misrepresented moments on set, interpreting private decisions as personal slights. Elliot highlighted that many of Kilmer's choices, which fans speculated about endlessly, were based on artistic considerations or personal principles rather than ego. By sharing this, Elliot reframes the narrative, showing how easily public perception can drift from reality without insider insight. Elliot's candid commentary also touches on Kilmer's resilience. The actor has faced personal and professional challenges that would overwhelm many, yet he persisted, continuously returning to the craft he loves. Fans who assumed inconsistency or volatility were missing the broader story of adaptation, perseverance, and creative independence. Elliot's account ensures that this resilience is recognized alongside Kilmer's talent. Perhaps most importantly, Elliot reminds audiences that understanding a person fully requires patience and context. It is not enough to rely on rumors, tabloid accounts, or isolated interviews. Seeing Kilmer through the lens of lived experience, through the observations of a colleague who witnessed his work ethic, vulnerability, and dedication offers a perspective that is nuanced, fair, and humanizing. In revealing what fans never saw, Elliot transforms the way we view Val Kilmer. The narrative shifts from one of speculation and mystery to one of respect, insight, and clarity. It becomes evident that Kilmer's decisions, personality, and behavior were always rooted in authenticity. Even if that authenticity was misunderstood or overlooked, ultimately, this insight encouraged viewers to reconsider assumptions about public figures. What appears confusing or contradictory on the surface often reflects deeper principles, personal struggles, or artistic priorities. Elliot's reflections invite audiences to approach Kilmer not just as a legend on screen, but as a human being navigating fame, artistry, and life with deliberate intent and resilience. Elliot's candid confirmation about Val Kilmer does more than settle long-standing rumors. It reshapes how audiences view Kilmer's entire career and legacy. For decades, Kilmer's talent was unquestioned. Yet the public often struggled to understand the choices he made, both on and off screen. Elliot's reflections provide clarity, offering insight into the human side of a man whose persona has often been misinterpreted or oversimplified. Elliot's perspective reveals the careful balance Kilmer has maintained between artistry and personal integrity. Hollywood frequently rewards conformity, yet Kilmer consistently charted his own course. While this independence occasionally fueled speculation or misjudgment, it also allowed him to produce work that was authentic, courageous, and enduring. Elliot's account highlights the discipline and resilience required to stay true to oneself in an environment built on image, expectation, and public perception. The confirmation also reframes how fans interpret Kilmer's public behavior. Actions that once seemed enigmatic or contradictory now take on new meaning. Elliot describes a man navigating both immense professional pressure and deeply personal challenges, striving to maintain authenticity while meeting the demands of a highly visible career. Understanding these pressures adds a layer of empathy and appreciation that was previously absent from public narratives. Beyond individual insight, Elliot's words serve as a commentary on Hollywood itself. The industry often magnifies surface-level traits while obscuring deeper truths. encouraging speculation rather than understanding. By sharing his observations, Elliot provides a rare window into the complexities behind fame, demonstrating that what appears on the surface is only part of the story. He challenges audiences to look beyond headlines, to seek nuance in a world that frequently prizes simplicity. Elliot also underscores the mutual respect that can exist between actors, even when personalities differ. The subtle recognition of talent, perseverance, and human vulnerability forms the foundation of their relationship. This dimension, often overlooked, is essential to appreciating the full scope of Kilmer's career and the environment in which he worked. It demonstrates that admiration and understanding do not require uniformity. They can thrive amidst individuality and difference. For younger audiences and aspiring actors, Elliot's confirmation offers a lesson in navigating challenges with integrity. Staying true to oneself, even when misunderstood or underestimated, is a form of quiet strength. Kilmer's journey illustrates that legacy is not only measured by fame or awards, but also by the consistency of values. Resilience in the face of adversity and authenticity in every choice made along the way. Ultimately, Elliot's reflections transform speculation into understanding. They allow audiences to see Val Kilmer not just as a legendary performer, but as a human being navigating a complex career in life. The narrative shifts from curiosity and rumor to insight and respect, encouraging a more nuanced appreciation of his contributions to film, culture, and the craft of acting. In conclusion, what Sam Elliot confirmed goes beyond resolving a long-standing question. It enriches the story of Val Kilmer. It illuminates the character, perseverance, and humanity that underpin his career, reminding audiences that true admiration stems from understanding, not assumption. Through Elliot's eyes, Kilmer's legacy is clarified, celebrated, and firmly grounded in authenticity, a reminder that even the brightest legends are, first and foremost, human.